Kang Dae-ho wiped the sweat from his forehead as he watched his crew work on the massive steel beams. The construction platform floated in space like a metal city, bigger than anything humans had ever built. But they were not the ones in charge. Here, the Valeth were. The aliens stood 3 meters tall with dark green scales that looked like armor. Their yellow eyes never showed kindness when they looked at humans. To them, people like Dae-ho were just tools that could think and move. Nothing more. "Move faster, mammal," Commander Veltarok said as he walked past. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "The reactor housing must be finished today." Dae-ho nodded without looking up. He had learned not to argue with the Valeth. 3 years working on Nexus Prime had taught him that much. The aliens paid humans very little, fed them cheap food, and gave them the most dangerous jobs. But the money still helped his wife So-jin back on Earth. "Yes, Commander," Dae-ho said. He turned to his crew of 20 humans. "You heard him. Let's finish this section before lunch." Lee Taemin, his best friend and second in command, shook his head. "These aliens think we're stupid animals, but we build everything they need. Keep your voice down," Dae-ho warned. The Valeth had good hearing. The last thing they needed was trouble. The work was hard and dangerous. They built reactor cores that powered whole star systems. They welded metal in space where one mistake meant death. They fixed machines that could kill them with a single spark. The Valeth gave humans this work because they said human lives were cheap. At lunchtime, Dae-ho sat with his crew in the human section of the station. The room was small and gray. The food was tasteless protein blocks. But it was theirs. "I got a message from So-jin yesterday," Dae-ho told Taemin. "She's doing well. The baby is growing strong." Taemin smiled. "That's good news. When will you see them again?" 2 more months. Then I get 1 week on Earth." Dae-ho looked at the picture on his tablet. So-jin was smiling, her hand on her growing belly. Their first child. "It's worth all this." Suddenly, red lights began flashing. An alarm sounded throughout the station. The humans looked around in fear. Emergency alarms usually meant someone was about to die. "All human workers report to Bay 7 immediately," a Valeth voice announced over the speakers. Dae-ho and his crew ran through the metal corridors. Other human groups were running too. Everyone looked scared. Bay 7 was near the main reactor. Nothing good ever happened there. Commander Veltarok waited for them with several other Valeth officers. His yellow eyes seemed to glow with excitement. Behind him, Dr. Silnara held a tablet with readings that made her shake her head. "Listen carefully, mammals," Veltarok began. "We have a serious problem. The main reactor is becoming unstable. If it fails, this entire station will explode." The humans looked at each other with fear. The main reactor powered everything. If it exploded, millions would die across 3 star systems. "The problem is in the reactor core itself," Dr. Zilnara explained. "The radiation levels are too high for our people to survive. But someone must go inside to fix the manual controls." Dae-ho felt his stomach drop. He knew what was coming. "You, Foreman Kang," Veltarok pointed at him. "You will take 5 of your best workers into the reactor core. You will fix the problem." "Sir," Dae-ho said carefully, "the radiation will kill us in minutes." Veltarok laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. "Perhaps. But you are expendable. We are not. Besides, humans are tough little creatures. You might survive long enough to save everyone." The other Valeth officers laughed too. Dr. Zilnara looked uncomfortable but said nothing. "What about radiation?" "Suits?" Taemin asked. "You will have the basic human suits," Engineer Mordoon said with a sneer. "They should protect you for some time." More laughter from the aliens. They all knew the human suits were old and weak. They would not protect anyone from reactor-level radiation. Dae-ho looked at his crew. They were all scared. These were good men with families back home. They did not deserve to die because the aliens thought human lives were worthless. I'll go alone, Daeho said. No, Veltarok replied. You need help to fix the reactor. Take 5 men. That is an order. Daeho felt anger burning in his chest, but he kept his face calm. Which 5? I'll go, Taemin said immediately. Me too, said Kim Min-ho, a young engineer. 3 others stepped forward, Park Ji-sung, Han Woo-jin, and Choi Dae-sung. All good men, all with families. Excellent, Veltarok said. You have 1 hour to prepare. Then you will save us all. Or die trying. He paused. Probably die trying. The Valeth officers laughed, again as they walked away. Dr. Silnara looked back once, but she said nothing. In the equipment room, Daeho and his team put on their radiation suits. The suits were old and patched many times. They would not last long against reactor radiation. Daeho, Taemin said quietly. We're not coming back from this, are we? Daeho checked his friend's suit seals. Maybe not. But if we don't try, everyone dies. Our families on Earth, everyone. The aliens could fix this themselves if they wanted, Kim Min-ho said bitterly. They have better suits, better technology. But they won't risk their lives, Han Woo-jin added. Only human lives are cheap enough. Daeho finished checking everyone's equipment. The suits would give them maybe an hour in the reactor core. The work would take at least 2 hours. The math was simple and terrible. Listen to me, Daeho said to his team. We go in fast, we work fast, we fix what we can. If someone's suit fails, the others keep working. No stopping to help. The mission comes first. They all nodded. They understood. As they walked toward the reactor entrance, Daeho thought about Sojin, about their baby who would never know their father, about all the times the Valeth had called humans expendable. Behind them, he could hear the alien officers making bets on how long the humans would survive. Some said 20 minutes, others said an hour. None said they would live. The reactor door opened with a hiss. Beyond it, the corridor glowed with deadly blue light. The radiation counter on Daeho's suit immediately began clicking faster. Ready? He asked his team. Ready, they answered. Daeho stepped into the blue glow and his team followed. Behind them, the door sealed shut with a sound like a tomb closing. The Valeth had sent them to their deaths. But maybe, just maybe they could. Save everyone first. Even if the aliens would never call them heroes for it. The corridor leading to the reactor core was like walking into hell. Blue light came from the walls themselves, making everything glow with deadly beauty. Daeho's radiation counter clicked so fast it sounded like rain on metal. Suits holding. Steady, Taemin reported over the radio. But Daeho could hear the worry in his friend's voice. They moved quickly through the passage. Every step took them deeper into the radiation field. The walls were thick metal, but even they could not stop all the energy pouring from the damaged reactor ahead. Temperature rising, Kim Min-ho said. The young engineer was already sweating inside his suit. 20 minutes into their walk, Park Ji-sung stumbled. Something's wrong, he said. I feel sick. Daeho checked Ji-sung's suit readings on his display. The radiation levels were climbing fast. One of the seals was starting to fail. We keep moving, Daeho said. He hated himself for the words, but they had no choice. The reactor comes first. Ji-sung nodded and kept walking, even though his face was getting pale. The passage opened into a huge chamber. In the center stood the reactor core, a massive sphere of metal and crystal that hummed with power. It was beautiful and terrifying. Blue energy danced around it like lightning trapped in glass. There, Choi Dae-sung pointed to a control panel near the reactor base. That's where we need to work. But the radiation here was so strong that their suits began failing immediately. Warning lights flashed red on everyone's chest displays. We have maybe 30 minutes, Han Woo-jin said, reading his instruments. Then we work fast, Daeho replied. They ran to the control panel. The manual systems were old Valeth technology, but Daeho had worked with similar machines before. The Problem was clear. Cooling pipes had burst inside the reactor. Without cooling, the core would overheat and explode. "We need to reroute the coolant flow," Daeho explained to his team. "Minho, can you access the backup systems?" "Working on it," the young engineer replied. His hands moved quickly over the alien controls. Behind them, Park Ji-sung collapsed. His suit had finally failed completely. Radiation was cooking him from the inside. "Help me," Ji-sung whispered. Taemin started toward him, but Daeho grabbed his arm. "No, we can't stop. You know that." Taemin's face was full of pain, but he nodded. They watched their friend die while they worked. It was the hardest thing Daeho had ever done. "Got it," Minho announced. "Backup cooling is online." But when they checked the readings, the core temperature was still rising. The backup system was not enough. "We need to manually open the emergency vents," Dae-sung said. "But they're inside the reactor housing." Everyone looked at the reactor. To reach the emergency vents, someone would have to climb inside the core itself. The radiation there would kill a person in minutes, even with a working suit. "I'll go," Han Woo-jin said. "No," Daeho replied. "I'm the foreman. It's my job." "Your suit is already damaged," Taemin pointed out. "Look at your readings." Daeho checked his display. His friend was right. His suit was failing too. But that made his choice easier, not harder. "Then I have nothing to lose," he said. Before anyone could stop him, Daeho climbed toward the reactor entrance. The radiation here was so intense that his vision began to blur immediately. Every step felt like walking through fire. Behind him, he heard another suit alarm. Someone else was dying. Inside the reactor core, the emergency vents were easy to find. They were large metal wheels that had to be turned by hand. But the radiation was so strong that Daeho's suit completely failed within seconds. He felt the radiation hit his body like acid. His skin began to burn. His vision turned strange colors. But he kept turning the wheels, one vent, then another, then a third. "Coolant flow restored." He heard Minho's voice over the radio, very far away. "Core temperature dropping." Daeho smiled as he collapsed. They had done it. The reactor was stable. Millions of people would live. "Daeho!" Taemin's voice called. Over the radio. "Get out of there!" But Daeho could not move. The radiation had damaged his nervous system. He could feel his body shutting down, cell by cell. "Tell Sojin I love her," he whispered into his radio. "Tell her about the baby. Tell her I tried to come home." Taemin came to help him, but his friend's suit was failing too. They both collapsed together outside the reactor core. "We did it," Taemin said weakly. "We saved everyone." "Yeah," Daeho replied. "We did." One by one, his team died around him. First Minho, then Dae-sung, then Woo-jin. Finally, Taemin closed his eyes and stopped breathing. Daeho was alone in the blue glow of the reactor chamber. His body felt like it was burning from the inside. He could taste blood in his mouth. His heart was beating too fast, then too slow. "Sojin," he whispered to the empty air. "I'm sorry." He thought about his wife's smile, about the baby who would grow up without a father, about all the times the Valeth had called humans expendable. Maybe they were right. Maybe human lives were cheap. But even cheap lives could do great things when they had to. The reactor hummed peacefully now. The crisis was over. Millions of people across 3 star systems would wake up tomorrow because 6 humans had been willing to die today. Daeho closed his eyes and waited for death to take him. The radiation had won. His body was too damaged to survive. But something strange was happening. Instead of getting weaker, he began to feel different. The burning sensation was changing into something else. Something that felt almost like strength. The blue light from the reactor seemed to be flowing into him instead of destroying him. His body was absorbing the radiation like a plant absorbing sunlight. Daeho opened his eyes and saw that they were glowing with the same blue light as the reactor. He tried to stand up and found that he could. His body was damaged, but it was also changing. "What's happening to me?" he whispered. The reactor seemed to answer him, though not with words. He could feel its energy flowing through his blood. He could sense every circuit, every power flow, every system on the station. He was dying. But he was also becoming something new. 3 days later, Valeth sensors detected life signs from the sealed reactor chamber. Commander Veltarok was sure there was a mistake. No human could survive that much radiation, but the sensors did not lie. Something was alive in there. Something that had been human, but was human no longer. "Open the chamber," Veltarok ordered. "Let's see what's left of our expendable mammals." The door opened with a hiss. Blue light poured out, and in that light, a figure stood waiting. It looked like Kang Dae-ho, but its eyes glowed with reactor fire, and when it smiled, the smile was not entirely human anymore. Commander Veltarok stared at the impossible sight before him. Kang Dae-ho stood in the middle of the reactor chamber, very much alive. His skin had a strange blue glow under it, like veins of light running through his body. His eyes burned with the same energy that powered the reactor itself. "This cannot be," Veltarok whispered. His yellow eyes went wide with shock. Dr. Zilnara pushed past the commander, her scientific instruments beeping wildly. "The radiation levels in that chamber should have killed him in minutes. How is he still alive?" Dae-ho looked at them calmly. When he spoke, his voice sounded the same, but there was something different underneath it. Something that made the Valeth step backward. "The reactor is stable," he said simply. "The crisis is over." "You should be dead," Engineer Mordoon said. His scaled hands shook as he held his scanner. "No organic life can survive that much radiation exposure." "Maybe," Dae-ho replied. "But I'm still here." Dr. Shilnara's instruments were going crazy. "Commander, you need to see these readings. His cellular structure, it's completely changed." She showed her tablet to Veltarok. The medical scans made no sense. Dae-ho's DNA had been rewritten at the basic level. His cells were processing radiation like normal cells processed oxygen. His nervous system showed patterns that had never been seen in any known species. "Bring him to the medical bay," Veltarok ordered. "I want to know what happened to him." Dae-ho did not resist when the Valeth guards surrounded him. He walked calmly through the corridors, his blue glowing eyes taking in everything around him. But now he saw more than just walls and lights. He could see the energy flowing through every wire, every circuit, every system on the station. In the medical bay, Dr. Zilnara ran test after test. Each one showed the same impossible result. Dae-ho had absorbed enough radiation to kill 100 humans, but instead of dying, his body had somehow learned to use that energy. "Your cellular regeneration rate is 50 times normal," she told him. "Your brain activity shows patterns we've never recorded. Your muscle density has increased by 30%. This should not be possible." "A lot of things shouldn't be possible," Dae-ho said quietly. "But here we are." "How do you feel?" she asked. Dae-ho thought about the question. He felt different, certainly. Stronger, more aware, but also sad. His friends were dead. His team had died to save people who thought their lives were worthless. "I feel like I understand things better now," he said. "What kinds of things?" Dae-ho looked around the medical bay. He could sense every machine, every power source, every data flow. It was like seeing with new eyes. "I understand how your technology works. I can feel the energy patterns. I know where the weak points are." Dr. Zilnara and the guards exchanged worried looks. "What do you mean?" "Your power grid has 17 inefficiencies that waste 30% of your energy. Your life support system has a flaw that will cause problems in 6 months. Your security network has vulnerabilities that any human child could exploit." The doctor's face went pale. "That's impossible. You're just a human laborer. You don't have the education to understand our systems. Daeho smiled sadly. I didn't before, but radiation changes things. Commander Veltarok entered the medical bay with more guards. Dr. Zilnara, report. His transformation is unlike anything in our records, she said. The radiation should have killed him, but instead, it enhanced him. His body has become a living energy processor. Enhanced how? His reflexes are faster, his strength is greater, and his mind can interface directly with electronic systems. He's also highly resistant to damage. When I tried to take a tissue sample, the scanner couldn't penetrate his skin. Veltarok studied Daeho with his cold, yellow eyes. This could be useful. Can you control him? I don't think so, Dr. Zilnara admitted. His brain patterns show that he retains full human consciousness and free will. If anything, the transformation has made him more independent, not less. That was not what Veltarok wanted to hear. A controllable, enhanced human would have been valuable. An independent one was dangerous. Lock him in the security cells, the commander ordered. Full containment. Energy barriers, metal walls, everything. The guards tried to take Daeho's arms, but he moved faster than they expected. Not violent, just quick. He was standing on the other side of the room before they could react. I'm not going to hurt anyone, he said calmly. But I'm not going to be your prisoner either. You will do as we command, Veltarok snarled. You are still just a human. We own you. Daeho's glowing eyes focused on the commander. No, you don't. He walked toward the door. When the guards tried to stop him, he simply moved around them. They could not touch him. He was too fast, too aware of their movements. Stop him! Veltarok shouted. Security barriers activated across the doorway. Blue energy fields that could stop a charging war beast. Daeho walked through them like they were warm water. The energy that should have killed him instead made his skin glow brighter. Impossible, Dr. Zilnara breathed. Daeho paused in the doorway and looked back at them. You called us expendable. You sent my friends to die because you thought human lives were cheap. But you were wrong about us. You're wrong about everything. Where are you going? Veltarok demanded. To see what else you've been wrong about. Daeho disappeared into the corridors of the station. Behind him, alarms began to sound. The Valeth had created something they did not understand and could not control. In the human quarters, the other workers gathered around their emergency radio. Word was spreading that Foreman Kang had survived the reactor chamber. But the reports made no sense. People were saying he could walk through energy barriers and see inside machines. It's impossible, one worker said. No one survives that much. Radiation. Maybe he's not human anymore, another suggested. An old maintenance worker named Song Q Nam shook his head. I worked with Daeho for 3 years. He's still human, but maybe he's more human than the rest of us. What do you mean? I mean, maybe this is what humans become when we stop being afraid. In the command center, Commander Veltarok was getting reports from all over the station. Security cameras showed Daeho moving through restricted areas like he owned them. He was not breaking anything or hurting anyone. He was just looking, learning. He's accessing systems that should be impossible for him to understand, Engineer Mordoon reported. Our most advanced technology. He's studying it like he built it, himself. Can he damage our systems? Sir, I think he could improve them. His modifications to the reactor cooling system are actually more efficient than our original design. Veltarok felt a cold fear growing in his chest. They had always controlled humans through superior technology. But what happened when humans could not only understand that technology but make it better? Find him, he ordered. Bring him back. Use force if necessary. But deep in the station's technical sections, Daeho was learning things that would change everything. Not just for him, but for every human in the galaxy. The radiation had not just changed his body. It had awakened something that had always been there, waiting. Something the Valeth had never imagined when they called humans expendable. For 2 weeks, Daeho moved through the station like a ghost. The Valeth security teams could never find him, even though their sensors tracked his energy signature everywhere. He seemed to know their patrol routes before they did. He avoided their traps with ease. But he was not hiding. He was learning. Every day, he understood more about how the station worked. He could touch a wall panel and feel the data flowing through the networks behind it. He could look at a machine and see exactly how to make it run better. The radiation had not just changed his body, it had connected his mind to technology in ways no one had ever imagined. In the human quarters, workers whispered about strange things happening. Broken equipment suddenly worked perfectly again. Safety systems that had never functioned properly were now running smoothly. Power flows that used to fluctuate were steady and strong. "Someone's fixing things," Song Q Nam told the others during their meal break, making improvements to systems the Valeth never bothered to maintain properly. "You think it's him?" asked Park Sunmi, one of the few female workers on the station. "The foreman who survived the reactor?" "Who else could it be?" The Valeth sure aren't going to improve working conditions for us. In his private quarters, Commander Veltarok studied security reports with growing anger. His officers had searched every section of the station twice. They had used thermal scanners, motion detectors, and even psychic sensors, but Kang Dae-ho remained invisible to them. "He's making us look like fools," Engineer Mordun complained. "A single human is outsmarting our entire security force." "He's not just a human anymore," Dr. Silnara reminded them. "The transformation changed him in ways we don't understand. His brain activity suggests he can process information at superhuman speeds." "I don't care what he's become," Veltarok snarled. "I want him caught. Double the security patrols, triple them if necessary." But Dae-ho was not trying to avoid capture anymore. He had learned what he needed to know. Now it was time to act. He found the Valeth Command Center during the night shift, when only a skeleton crew was on duty. The room was filled with holographic displays showing data from across the galaxy. Trade routes, military positions, resource, flows. Everything the Valeth used to control their empire. The two guards on duty never saw him coming, not because he hurt them, but because he moved so quietly and quickly that they never noticed he was there. He walked right past them to the main computer terminal. When Dae-ho placed his hands on the control surface, the machine responded like it recognized him. Data flowed into his mind faster than any normal person could process, but his enhanced brain absorbed it all. He learned about the Valeth Empire, about how they conquered worlds and enslaved species they considered inferior, about the millions of humans working in dangerous conditions across the galaxy, treated like expendable tools. But he also learned about Valeth weaknesses. Their technology was advanced but inflexible. Their society was rigid and slow to change. They ruled through fear because they could not inspire loyalty. And most importantly, he learned that humans were not unique in being treated as expendable. The Valeth had enslaved dozens of species, all considered too primitive to matter. "Interesting. Reading," a voice said behind him. Dae-ho turned to see Dr. Zilnara standing in the doorway. She was alone, which surprised him. "Where are the guards?" he asked. "I sent them away. I wanted to talk to you privately." "Why?" Dr. Zilnara stepped closer, her scanner in hand. "Because I think you're the most important discovery in Valeth history, and I think my people are too stupid to realize it." Dae-ho studied her carefully. Unlike the other Valeth, Dr. Zilnara seemed genuinely curious rather than just afraid. "What do you want to know?" he asked. "Everything. How did the radiation change you? What can you do now that you couldn't do before? Are there limits to your abilities? Why does it matter? Because if we could understand your transformation, we could replicate it. We could enhance other humans the same way." Dae-ho's eyes flared brighter. "You want to make more like me? The scientific possibilities are incredible. Enhanced humans could work in environments too dangerous for normal people. They could interface with technology in ways that would revolutionize how we build and maintain our systems. And you could control them better than you control normal humans. Dr. Zilnara paused. That's not what I meant. Yes, it is. You want to make better slaves. We prefer the term workers. Daeho laughed, but there was no humor in it. You still don't understand. The radiation didn't just change my body. It woke something up, something that was always there. What do you mean? Humans adapt. It's what we do. We survive things that should kill us. We learn from everything. We never give up. You thought those were weaknesses because they made us harder to control. But they're actually our greatest strengths. Dr. Zilnara's scanner was beeping rapidly. Your energy levels are spiking. Are you all right? I'm fine. Better than fine. Daeho stood up from the computer terminal. But you and your people are about to have a very bad day. What are you talking about? I've been learning about your empire, about all the species you've enslaved, about how you maintain control. He smiled, and his glowing eyes made the expression look dangerous. And I've figured out how to break it. Before Dr. Zilnara could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red, and Veltarok's voice echoed over the communication systems. Security alert. The human prisoner has accessed classified systems. All units respond to the command center immediately. You need to leave, Dr. Zilnara told Daeho urgently. They'll kill you if they catch you here. No, they won't. They're too afraid of what I might have learned. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. A squad of Valeth soldiers was approaching, armed with energy weapons and containment devices. This way, Dr. Zilnara said, pointing to a maintenance shaft. You can escape through the ventilation system. But Daeho did not move toward the escape route. Instead, he walked toward the door where the soldiers were coming. What are you doing? She asked. Something I should have done 2 weeks ago. The command center doors burst open, and Commander Veltarok stormed in with 12 armed soldiers. They spread out in a defensive formation, weapons trained on Daeho. Step away from the computer, human, Veltarok ordered. You are under arrest for unauthorized access to classified systems. Daeho looked at the soldiers calmly. I don't think so. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now and we might let you live. You're right about one thing, Daeho said. You are outgunned. He placed his hand on the nearest control panel. Instantly, every weapon in the room stopped working. The soldiers pulled their triggers, but nothing happened. Their energy cells had been drained. Impossible, Veltarok breathed. You keep saying that word, Daeho replied. But I don't think you know what it means. The lights in the command center began to pulse with the same blue glow as Daeho's eyes. He was not just interfacing with the technology anymore. He was controlling it. What do you want? Dr. Zilnara asked. Daeho turned to face them all. When he spoke, his voice carried through every speaker on the station. I want you to understand something. You called humans expendable. You treated us like we were nothing. But you were wrong. We're not expendable. We're not weak. And we're definitely not yours to control anymore. Throughout the station, human workers stopped what they were doing to listen. For the first time in 3 years, one of them was speaking with power instead of fear. The age of treating humans as slaves is over, Daeho continued. And it's time you learned what we're really capable of. The message spread faster than Commander Veltarok could stop it. Within hours of Daeho's declaration, every human settlement in the galaxy had heard the news. The foreman who survived the reactor was alive, changed, and fighting back. But it was not just words that spread. Hidden in the data transmissions were samples of Daeho's transformed DNA patterns. Dr. Zilnara had unknowingly helped when she transmitted his medical scans to other research stations for analysis. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, human workers in the deep tunnels felt something change. Park Min-woo was operating a drilling machine when the sensation hit him. Suddenly, he could feel the machine's vibrations in a new way. He could sense where the ore deposits were hidden, deeper than any scanner had shown. "Something's different," he told his work crew. "I can feel the metal in the rock." On the orbital farms around Tau Ceti, agricultural worker Kim So-young noticed that she could sense the health of plants just by being near them. Crops that had been struggling began to thrive under her touch. On dozens of worlds, in hundreds of facilities, humans began to change. Not all of them transformed as dramatically as Daeho, but enough change to make the Valeth nervous. Commander Veltarok received the reports with growing alarm. "How many confirmed cases?" he asked Dr. Zilnara. "Over 200 so far," she replied, reviewing her data. "The pattern suggests that exposure to Kang Daeho's genetic material is triggering dormant sequences in baseline human DNA. You mean it's contagious?" "Not exactly contagious, more like awakening. The humans aren't getting sick. They're evolving." Veltarok felt his world crumbling around him. The Valeth Empire was built on controlling inferior species through superior technology. But what happened when those species became equal or superior to their masters? Can we stop the spread? I don't think so. The transformation seems to be self-sustaining once it starts, and the enhanced humans are teaching the others. On Nexus Prime, Daeho had not been idle. He had taken control of the station's communication, arrays, and was broadcasting to human settlements across the galaxy. But he was not calling for rebellion or violence. Instead, he was teaching. "Your minds are capable of more than you know," he said in his transmissions. "The Valeth have kept you from understanding your true potential, but that potential is still there, waiting." He shared techniques for awakening dormant abilities, meditation exercises that helped humans connect with technology, breathing patterns that enhanced mental processing. Simple but effective methods that any human could learn. Song Q Nam was one of the first to try Daeho's techniques. The old maintenance worker sat quietly in his quarters, following the breathing pattern Daeho had demonstrated. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, he began to sense the electrical systems in the walls around him. "I can feel the power flowing," he whispered in amazement. "I can see where the circuits are damaged." Within days, Song Kyu Nam was repairing systems that had been broken for years. Other workers began learning from him, and the knowledge spread. The Valeth tried to stop the broadcasts, but Daeho had integrated himself too deeply into their systems. Every time they blocked one transmission, he found 10 other ways to communicate. "He's like a virus in our networks," Engineer Mordun complained. "We shut down one pathway and he opens 2 more. "Then destroy the entire communication system," Veltarok ordered. "Sir, that would cut us off from the rest of the Empire. We'd be isolated." Better isolated than overthrown. But it was too late. The changes had already begun. On the factory world of HD 164595C, human workers discovered they could operate machines with unprecedented precision. Production efficiency increased by 300% in a single week. The Valeth overseers did not know whether to be pleased or terrified. Worker Han Ji-min found that she could sense metal stress patterns just by touching a machine. "This assembly line will break down in 6 hours, she told her supervisor. "The third support strut has a microfracture." The Valeth supervisor laughed. "Impossible. Our scanners show no problems." 6 hours later, the assembly line collapsed exactly, as Han Ji-min had predicted. After that, the Valeth began listening when enhanced humans made predictions. But the changes were not just practical. The enhanced humans were beginning to work together in ways that made the Valeth uncomfortable. They communicated with subtle signals that Valeth scanners could not detect. They coordinated their efforts without any apparent organization. "They're becoming a collective intelligence," Dr. Zilnara reported to Veltarok. "Not a hive mind, but something similar. Each enhanced human retains individuality, but they can share information instantly. How? I'm not sure. Quantum entanglement at the neural level, perhaps, or electromagnetic field interaction." Their brain patterns have become more complex than anything we've recorded. The first real test came on the agricultural world of Kepler 452b. The Valeth colonial governor, Corthex, decided to reassert control by punishing a group of enhanced humans. He ordered them to work double shifts without food or rest. The humans complied without complaint. But something strange happened. The more the Valeth pushed them, the more efficient they became. They worked faster, made fewer mistakes, and required less sleep. What was meant to be punishment became demonstration of human superiority. "They're not getting tired," the Valeth work supervisor reported. "If anything, they seem to be getting stronger." Governor Corthex decided to escalate. He brought in armed guards and threatened to execute the humans if they did not submit to Valeth authority. That was when the enhanced humans stopped pretending to be helpless. Lee Sang-ho, who had been a simple farm worker a month earlier, stepped forward to face the guards. When they pointed their weapons at him, he simply looked at the weapons calmly. The energy rifles stopped working. Just like on Nexus Prime, the power cells drained instantly. "How did you do that?" Governor Corthex demanded. "We learned," Lee Sang-ho replied simply. "Just like Foreman Kang taught us." Within hours, the enhanced humans had taken control of the entire agricultural complex. They did not hurt anyone. They simply made it impossible for the Valeth to maintain control. Weapons stopped working, security systems failed. Communication equipment sent only the messages humans wanted to send. The pattern repeated on world after world. Enhanced humans did not fight the Valeth. They simply made Valeth authority irrelevant. Back on Nexus Prime, Commander Veltarok faced a choice that terrified him. He could try to destroy all the humans in his empire, risking a war. He might not win. Or he could try to negotiate with them, admitting that Valeth's superiority was a lie. "What do they want?" he asked Dr. Zilnara. "I don't think they want anything from us," she replied. "I think they just want us to leave them alone." Veltarok looked at the reports piling up on his desk. Entire worlds where humans had quietly taken control, production facilities running better than ever but under human management, mining operations extracting more resources than the Valeth had ever achieved, but with human workers making the decisions. "They're not trying to conquer us," he realized. "They're just replacing us." "What should we do?" Before Veltarok could answer, his communication system activated. Daeho's face appeared on the main screen, his blue glowing eyes calm but determined. "Commander," Daeho said politely, "I think it's time we talked." The meeting took place in the same chamber where Daeho had once been sent to die. But now the reactor room had been transformed. Under his guidance, enhanced humans had rebuilt the entire system. The dangerous blue glow was gone, replaced by a clean white light that felt warm and safe. Commander Veltarok arrived with a full escort of guards, but their weapons were useless here. Daeho had made sure of that. The energy fields that powered their rifles simply would not function in his presence. "You wanted to talk," Veltarok said, trying to sound commanding despite his fear. "So talk." Daeho stood beside the reactor that had killed and reborn him. He looked exactly as he had before his transformation, except for the gentle glow in his eyes and the sense of power that radiated from him like heat from a star. "I want to show you something," Daeho said calmly. He placed his hand on the reactor controls. Instantly, holographic displays filled the air around them, showing data from across the galaxy. Production reports, efficiency ratings, safety statistics, all from facilities where enhanced humans had taken control. "Look at the numbers," Daeho said. "Every world where humans have awakened is producing more resources, with fewer accidents, and higher quality results than ever before." Veltarok studied the data with growing amazement. "This can't be accurate." "It is. Enhanced humans don't work harder than regular humans. We work smarter. We understand the systems we operate. We can sense problems before they become failures. We can optimize processes that your engineers never thought to improve. Dr. Zilnara stepped forward, her scanner recording everything. The efficiency improvements are impossible by our calculations. Your calculations were based on the assumption that humans are inferior, Deho replied. That assumption was wrong. Engineer Mordoon pointed to one of the displays. The mining operation on Kepler 442b has tripled its output. How? Enhanced humans can sense ore deposits that your machines miss. We can feel stress patterns in rock formations. We know where to dig and where not to dig. Deho smiled slightly. We're not guessing anymore. We know. This doesn't change anything, Veltarok said, though his voice lacked conviction. You are still our subjects. We own these facilities. Do you? Deho asked. Look around you, Commander. Your weapons don't work here. Your security systems. Obey my commands, not yours. Your own technology recognizes me as its rightful operator. As if to prove his point, the chamber's lighting shifted to match Deho's words. The walls themselves seemed to respond to his presence. This is impossible, Veltarok whispered. You're just a human laborer. I was, Deho agreed. But I evolved, and so have millions of others. He gestured, and new displays appeared showing human settlements across the galaxy. On every world, enhanced humans were not just working, they were improving everything they touched. Broken machines ran perfectly. Inefficient systems became models of precision. Dangerous environments became safe through human intuition and care. We're not trying to conquer your empire, Commander. We're trying to fix it. Fix it? Your technology is impressive, but it's also wasteful and dangerous. Your social systems create suffering where cooperation would work better. Your military focuses on control instead of protection. Deho's eyes glowed brighter. Humans can do better. We are doing better. Dr. Zilnara was studying her readings with fascination. Your neural activity is off the charts. You're processing more information simultaneously than our best computers. Every enhanced human can do this. We share knowledge instantly. When one of us learns something, we all learn it. When one of us solves a problem, we all understand the solution. A collective intelligence, Engineer Mordoon breathed. Not collective. Cooperative. We're still individuals with our own thoughts and feelings. But we can work together in ways you never imagined. Veltarok looked at the displays showing his crumbling empire. On world after world, Valeth authority was becoming irrelevant. Not through violence or rebellion, but through simple superiority. What do you want from us? He asked finally. Nothing, Deho replied. We don't need anything from you anymore. Then why are we here? Because I wanted to give you a choice. You can keep trying to control us and fail. You can fight us and lose. Or you can work with us as equals. Veltarok laughed bitterly. Equals? You just demonstrated that you're superior to us in every way. In some ways, yes. But you have strengths too. Your people are good at long-term planning. You understand complex social structures. You have centuries of experience governing diverse populations. Deho paused. Humans are good at solving problems and adapting to change. Together we could build something better than either of us could create alone. And if we refuse, then you become irrelevant. We'll continue improving your technology and systems whether you participate or not. But it would be easier with your cooperation. Dr. Zilnara stepped closer to Deho. Could other species undergo the same transformation? The ones we've enslaved, like humans? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. His eyes met hers. Every intelligent species has untapped potential. Humans aren't special because we're better than everyone else. We're special because we never stopped trying to become better than we were. Veltarok was quiet for a long time, studying the data displays. His empire was built on the assumption of Valeth superiority, but the evidence before him made that assumption impossible to maintain. If we agree to this partnership, what guarantee do we have that humans won't simply take over everything? The same guarantee you gave us when you called us expendable, Deho replied. None. You'll have to trust us. That's not very reassuring. No, it isn't. But consider the alternative. Keep fighting us and watch your empire collapse. Work with us and help build something better. Engineer Mordoon was studying the technical readouts. The improvements to our systems. They're not just more efficient. They're more stable, safer, longer-lasting. If we could implement these changes empire-wide, we could end resource shortages, reduce accidents, increase prosperity for everyone, Dr. Zilnara added. The potential benefits are enormous. Velta Rock looked around the transformed reactor chamber. 3 weeks ago, this had been a death trap that nearly destroyed the station. Now, it was the most advanced power system he had ever seen, running at peak efficiency with zero risk of failure. How do I know you won't take revenge for the way we treated you? Deho thought of his friends who had died in this very chamber. Lee Taman, Kim Min-ho, and the others who had given their lives to save people who thought they were worthless. Because revenge doesn't fix anything, he said quietly, and we're fixers now. He activated his communication system, and his voice reached every enhanced human in the galaxy. This is Kang Deho. The Valeth are ready to negotiate a new relationship. We will work with them as partners, not subjects. The age of calling any intelligent species expendable is over. 6 months later, Deho stood on the observation deck of Nexus Prime, looking out at the stars. The station had become a model for the new cooperation between species. Humans and Valeth worked side by side, each contributing their strengths to common goals. His communication tablet chimed with a message from Earth. Sojin's face appeared on the screen, smiling as she held their baby daughter. "Hello, my love," she said. "When are you coming home?" Deho smiled back, his eyes still glowing with the blue light of transformation. "Soon. I have one more project to finish here." "What kind of project?" "We're building something new. A ship that can travel between galaxies. If there are other species out there being treated as expendable, we want to help them too." So, Jin laughed. "Always trying to fix everything, aren't you?" "It's what humans do," Deho replied. "We fix things. We make them better. And we never give up." Behind him, human and Valeth engineers worked together on designs that neither species could have created alone. The galaxy was changing, one world at a time, one species at a time. And at the center of it all was a simple truth that the Valeth had learned too late. No one is expendable. Everyone has potential. And given the chance, anyone can become more than they ever imagined possible. The stars themselves seemed brighter somehow, as if the universe approved of what they were building together.